This is your space to listen, learn, and connect. Talk with Blaq. Your space to express yourself. Delve into meaningful conversations. Talk with Blaq. Je m'appelle Blaq. How you guys doing?
You're doing yourself, man.
Doing well?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Talk with Blaq. I am Blaq, or Je m'appelle Blaq, as the French would say. Today's episode is a little different. And how is that different? We haven't done this in a while, though. In fact, we haven't done it at all, guys. We are going to be profiling someone, all right? Normally, we just, get into the serious stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, we're too stiff for that one. So I thought, let's just get into this one and, ease on up, as they would say.
Sure.
So I brought somebody to come and talk about hustling. And someone who's going to come and make us relax, learn to chill.
Sounds good.
And I know many people don't know you, Mr. T, or as I call you, Sonic. Let's just put it out there. I'm going to call you Sonic.
Sure.
Okay. On Talk with Blaq today, we're talking about hustling, right?
Yeah.
We're going to watch a video.
Yeah.
And on that video, we're going to react to it. All right. And then we're going to talk about it, discuss it. And then I'm going to come back and introduce you guys. Is that okay?
Okay.
You guys good?
Cool. Okay.
All right, let's go.
We were educated to work. We're not educated to start up stuff. So the fact that you finished school as a chemical engineer, all you knew how to do was to write a CV. I hereby look for a job as a what? You never thought that as a chemical engineer, you could go back to the village, find out some active ingredients in Mhlonyana, and come up with your own thing for flu and what, package it and sell. You are an engineer. For crying out loud, you should be able to convert proper juice into proper juice and put it on the shelves. You should be able to start using your chemical engineering knowledge in creating brands. No, instead, how beautiful is your CV? I work under pressure. I'm a team player. I have a good attitude, and etc. So the whole country of graduates was walking the streets looking for employment, and employment was saturated. So people ended up leaving the country to come to other countries.
There you go. Now the man has spoken, and let's go around the room. Gentlemen, let's talk on Talk with Blaq. Sonic, what do you think?
Man, this takes me back to a song. I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me.
Yeah.
You go to varsity, you go everywhere. And
Hold on. We might have the young people. Who did that song, by the way? Is it the OJs?
Man, I'm going to have to reveal my age. I'm actually not sure. But I do remember it could be the OJs, or I'm not too sure. Hattons, or I'm not too sure.
I think it's a Temptation.
Probably.
I think it's a Temptation.
Yeah.
All right.
So, you go to varsity, you finish matric or grade 12.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, like just the normal run of the mill, after that, you have to study something and you study a trade. And after that, then you get into the career mode. You get employed and all of that. And you live your whole life in this structure, but you never really arrive at your own structure. Who am I? So it kind of took me there.
All right. Now that you're asking the question, who am I? Please introduce yourself, sir. Who are you? What kind? Well.
This man. He's not letting me breathe.
You see me being young right there?
Well, for the benefit of obviously our viewers and our guests, my name is Thabo Makutwani. I wouldn't say good friend. We've been brothers for well over 30 years. Almost 30 years. Yeah.
You guys
so
have known each other.
So that's where we come from. But yeah, Thabo Makutwani is the name, and it's an honor to be here and obviously come here to add value, but mostly to learn from the gentlemen around the table here. So yeah,
that's it. All right, Mr. Guest, the man spoke.
Yes. Actually, what that video said to me, I remember we were talking. I was studying something.
Mm-hmm.
Nah? and the lecturer said there was a research that was done whereby they found out an average South African with their memory stick then you'll find music in a CV, whereby their peers in a country like Sweden, they have a business proposal.
Okay.
You understand? So that is an indication of the mindset that we are kind of like imbibing here in terms of, you're going to look for a job. And when you look at how schooling started, it was basically a fake tree for people that are going to work. You know, like
It was a factory. It was a factory for factory workers.
Yes, like you come grade 1, you pass the tasks, you go to grade 2. That's why we have a lot of unemployed graduates, because nobody's giving them tasks yet.
Yeah.
And now they have the skill, they feel like
That's
I can't.
powerful. Nobody has given them.
Yes, because from grade R to graduation level, they've been taught that once you pass this one, you go to the next one. Once you pass this one, you give you problems for this level. Now they finished all of that. Nobody's giving them anything. They feel like, we don't have employment. Bruh. Nobody's going to give you anything.
All right.
You must go find it.
Now that you are telling us that, right? Did you, or are you doing what you studied?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm a lot of things now.
But the thing that you went to school for.
Look, I
Are you
studied
using-
auditing for 2 years, and then I changed, because for me, you have to adapt. Environment is always changing. I studied innovation, I studied technology, I studied digital marketing, I learned how to DJ, I learned public speaking. So for me to be here, I operate in content, in radio. So now all those things are at play all at once. You know, so I'm a hybrid between what I would call a street disciple and a thought leader.
Okay.
That's the long
That's
and
a
short
nice
of it.
introduction. Now, go ahead. Now, Kubelo Nitrazelo, who are you? What level? How come? Who are you? Talk to us.
No, hey, Blaq, you're on my case. Yeah.
What's the level?
No, look. I'm. My name is Kagiso Sibudi.
Yes, sir.
My
Welcome.
everyday job. I'm a content producer.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, like I'm saying, I'm pushing digital marketing on the side. I'm pushing DJing here and there. When I get a gig, I can MC. I even do technical stuff. Even do produce adverts and stuff. So I'm like,
So you're the typical hustler.
I'm finding my way.
Welcome to Talk with Blaq.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Mr. Rodney Bedoy.
Sure, King.
The man spoke to us.
Yeah, man.
Did he speak to you?
Yeah, he did.
Tell me about it.
From my side, man, I just see programming, from grade 1 to wherever. And it's something that also hit me hard as an individual, but what I can say, passion then took me out of that. Passion didn't drive me out of the programming, So yeah, man, I believe, I stand to be corrected, like your Steve Jobs in a way, right? He might be a C student. But what
He was a system.
he was okay, cool. And then he used the A students to create Apple. So this programming doesn't work, but fortunately you have to step out of that program.
Funny you mentioned Steve. He wasn't even a technical person. He was a marketing person.
Yeah,
So he went and got some few boffins and
he
put
just
them
had an
together.
idea and
Yeah.
went and
drove them
that-
like slaves.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Introduce yourself, Mr. Bedoy.
This
Who are
is
you? What do you do? How come? What's your level?
my level is too high. Every time I'm
Your level is high.
and I'm elevating always. But yeah. Okay, Rodney Paloi, or Matimba Rodney Paloi from Kakala village, but I'm here in the city. I'm known as Ronnie Deep, DJ, producer, and a style influencer, a menswear activist.
You hit me with the style thing. You need to start dressing me. Chief.
Now I would do that, man.
Yeah.
I would need to speak about, men
Okay.
dress the way we want to be addressed.
All right.
But you paint your nails though.
I don't.
Oh.
No.
Okay, let me put my thoughts on it. Men should not paint their nails.
Daddy, manala monna kutswehla. Men must not paint their nails.
Yeah,
That's
man.
my story and I'm sticking to it.
Woman.
What's you?
No, but then, come on, Rod. Listen,
Yeah.
they are roles
Yes.
in society.
Sure.
The problem with today's society is that we want to blur the lines between the roles. And that's why I think most of us are not even understood. It's because we're trying to fit into a box
Sure.
that is round. And you're coming in a square box. It's not fitting, you know? The level is not quelling, you know?
You know what else is happening? Eh?
Yeah.
Everybody will keep on saying to us, guys, the world is changing. Who's changing it?
Yeah.
You understand? Why aren't we pushing back with our values? Because they are bringing whatever they're bringing here. And we are the ones who always has to swallow up everybody's changes to us. Why aren't we pushing back and saying, bruh, not here?
It's like fashion. Can I put it that it was like fashion? Hence, as a menswear activist, right? We strive to have garments that are just classic all the way.
Yeah.
So, but fashion, that's what happens. Fashion comes in and out. So there's some kind of influence. Then, if we don't know those values, then it messes us up. So you're right. We need to know those values so that we know this is a yes or no.
Also, it has started. Je m'appelle Blaq. This is called Talk with Blaq with me, Blaq. All right. So now you've heard the ground, or the ground has been laid, and the die has been cast, and the conversation begins. Welcome to Talk with Blaq. I am Blaq. Kachi, so you are the guest, and you were already telling us there's a question that you asked me, and I thought that question was very pertinent. Please ask that question to the gents, and let's see if we can, you know, take our way and see if we can understand it.
Actually continues from what you are saying now.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the question. Do you know that it's possible to become something that you can't explain, but yet you are projecting it every day? What am I saying?
What are you saying?
I'm asking you. If I was to do a survey here and saying who identifies as an African man here, chances are we're gonna all raise our hands. But if I ask you what is an African man, what does he believe? What language does he speak? Has he been successful in the changing world here today? And with that, we also have to take into consideration that we live in a westernized culture. So it means the Western man comes into play. So now, has he been successful? How has he adapted? What language does he speak? You know? And if you add religion into it, as a person like from the Christian faith, there's the Christian man also at play here. And if I was to ask you, which one of all these three people are you? Are you able to defend it?
Nobody, I think, look, I wouldn't dare want to be seen as someone that's projecting, because projecting is Hasenina.
Yeah.
It will never be who I am,
Yeah.
you know. So I get your question, but yeah, I think Bushokubayon and the pain behind it is, unfortunately, we're so westernized that every single day, the African in me is ever diluted, you know.
Explain the dilution.
Look, you know, I'll go down to my kids.
Okay.
Right? My own children cannot speak Sesotho. They cannot speak back Sesotho.
They can hear what you're saying.
They can hear what I'm saying. And you know, those values that I try to instill in Mobona, you know, you also need to find balance, because you really cannot force them, cannot force feed your cultures and how you were brought up. Mobona. So you need to allow them, Libona, to grow and explore, and hopefully, down the line, they're gonna come back. And Baba
Okay, now, before I go to Rod, let me give you this. When it comes to our kids now, we're swimming against the tide. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. First of all, your children spend 8 hours at school, right? Just like you, I mean, like Kahiso here told us that life is a school, basically a factory for work. Now, when they're busy being manufactured into their employees that they need to be in the future, they are taught a certain language, which is English. We take them to English schools. All right. You spend possibly around 2 hours with your own child a day, and then TV takes the rest. All right. TV speaks in English. You yourself will throw in a bit of English. The school throws in a lot of English, and even in some schools they tell them, we don't want you to speak in vernacular. Yeah, in most schools they do that. I remember when we were at school, we were not allowed to speak in any vernacular in the school.
Yeah, well, You see, Luna.
Yeah, we went to private school, kid. I'm private school, son. But anyway, I digress. So now, looking at those dynamics, your child, why I'm saying this, because I'm a product of that. It took me, like, consciously going out and learning the languages, which is why I can speak vernacular, but I can't read it because I never did it at school. So most of our children are going to be that, where they're going to speak in an accent that you don't understand as a father, because we're not Mahaeng or Lukshin. You're not going to understand it. It's not your fault. It's not that you haven't done your job as a father or a mother. It's just that the system that they let me finish. It's just the system that brings them up is more powerful than you, and is more intentional than you as a parent. That's why our kids are what I think, because I'm looking at me as an example of that. Rod, you wanted to say something? Oh, you wanted to say something? But before you go that,
okay.
No. Before we go to Rod was going to say something. Before,
what was the question again?
No, we're talking about
language. And
language.
Children are unable to speak.
Hey, that one, it's. I won't say it's difficult, but how can I put it, man? Home, families. I think the best way, man, is to have these conversations, like, history with the kids, with the school out there, obviously teaching them whatever they teach, right? But I remember this, my great-grandfather, when I used to visit him, he would give me a bit of history, and understanding the language. But right now...
Yeah, but he gave you that history in Shangan. Today, everything at school, everywhere, is in English.
Yeah, but...
And you, when you grew up, you didn't have as much technology as these kids today have.
Yes.
So 80% of their time is spent using technology.
Yes.
That's in English.
But hang on.
Okay.
But I go in and that thing. I have a follow-up question for you.
Okay, this is for me. The solution is an individual's responsibility for a collective objective. Why? Because already when you go into family WhatsApp groups, we are only speaking English, even though there are no white people in our group. But this is how it works.
Yes, okay.
Check all the African languages.
Sure.
African language groups. As the custodian of different languages, Xhosa, Sotho, Swahili, and whatever, we are not responsible for building our languages. Check Afrikaners now. Afrikaners are able to educate their children from grade R to PhD level in their language. Why? Because whenever there's new knowledge that comes, they go there, they translate it into their language, and then they keep their languages alive. Okay. So now we are always absorbing everybody else's mess.
But you also need to understand the fact that we are not studying in our own mother tongues.
Who's responsible?
It's your government.
No, but the language group can say, guys, as the Basotho, we used to do mathematics.
Yes.
We used to do science. We geography.
Really?
In Sotho.
Yes.
What changed? So we must.
The freedom came.
It is the responsibility of each language group to make sure that every valuable knowledge that is out there is translated in language. Let's take music, for example. You go on Spotify now. You go on iTunes. Most of our African language songs are not written. You said you can speak Xhosa, but you couldn't write it. Because now, in the future, the children that are growing today, a child will tell you so what happened, but they can't even write their name or even speak their language, because the language that is on digital platforms is not supporting our languages. But we need to be the ones that are fighting for our languages to stay afloat.
But did you hear what I said?
Okay.
I said the system that is teaching your children English is deliberate. And we as parents are not deliberate about this. So the system that's fighting against you is deliberate. They know what they need to do, and they're doing it systematically. What are we doing? Because the thing needs to come back at home. As parents, Luna, okay, Tina. Hey,
No.
I'm trying. Now let's move this thing a bit. We've gotten from the language, which is the programming, right?
Yes.
Of how we need to think, all right? Which is now, we know that we are programmed, as Dr. Mapongo was saying, to thinking employment, but we are here today as people that are living outside the vocation that we chose at school, all right?
Yes.
All of us. So now the question then becomes, has hustling entrepreneurial skills, or are they being taught at school? And what does the curriculum that has these things look like in schools?
You know, I saw a video recently that speaks about, this is a young boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Kilohoa. And they were
Oh,
saying...
let me before that. And then after that, please answer this for me. What is hustling and what is entrepreneurial? Go ahead.
So he was saying at school, they were taught to how to run a B&B.
Mm-hmm.
At primary school, you know, you had to make decisions between buying or renting,
Yeah.
you know, and they were start doing models on how to keep a B&B and maintain it and stuff. And the kind of ratings they got from their Airbnb were like, those are skills that you implant in a child at an early age,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Yeah. So, but to come to your question, what is hustling? For me, the ability to read your environment and adapt and close that gap,
Okay.
you are that.
That's entrepreneurial.
That's entrepreneurial. But for me, what would hustling be? Because you also have to
Hustling
identify
is
a
entrepreneurial,
gap.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to identify the gap that exists and even anticipate the environment that you're living in. You cannot live today and not learn about technology because technology is running things. But past, we used to be we had to learn about machine iron and stuff because now we had to design things and machines and iron stuff, you know.
Talking about technology now with the computer world and the fourth, what do they call it? The fourth
Industrial Revolution.
Fourth industrial revolution. You have your AIs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Have they affected this hustling environment
Of course.
or the entrepreneurial? How have they done it? Then?
Look, we'll always be, I think humanity will always be advancing. It's only forward, it's only
The only thing constant is time. Everything
Correct.
else changes.
Yeah. So even the ways we hustle today, completely different. You know, that we like digital marketing. Now, digital marketing is a typical example of, like a typical success story of how someone can hustle. I do come on through. Okay. I will allow you, Guru, maybe just to give us just a watered down version of what digital marketing is, because it's more Araba, because AI plays a huge part more. Because before you dish out information or whatever you want to do, whatever you dish out.
Well, let's define AI first, because there are probably somebody sitting in the bush somewhere does not understand what's AI. What is this AI? Englishise that for us.
So it means if I was to direct translate that,
Yeah.
it is artificial wisdom or fake wisdom.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence.
Don't leave us hanging. Qhubeka kaloku.
So bohlale bo ba maiketsetso
Yeah.
hangata kana o rela ya go etsa o itsetleya mo nthong e itseng.
Yeah.
So you, for that, it's obviously the IP comes from the mind, but for whatever it is that you have in your mind, for it to run and to become a reality, you rely on something. There's got to be a tool or something. Etla we sang more. What I can say we sit here on to 80. That's artificial
Like you
intelligence.
depend on something else.
Okay. Rodney, what's your take on this one?
On AI.
You've been very quiet. What is AI? Kas Changane. We've had the Sutu one. The Changane. What's the Changane one?
That's what I can say.
Yes.
You know, but for me, AI, man, I see it as a tool.
Yeah, but Lendo, this tool,
Yes.
how has it affected
Yes.
your way of doing business?
For me, it's positive. For me, it's positive. But the thing is, you need to also understand how to use it. You
Any
know?
challenges?
No challenges yet because I know what I want and how to use it. You know, if I just ask AI to do things for me without having the vision and understanding of what I need to do,
Okay, is it not making you lazy?
No,
Because
that's being lazy. But if I understand the concept of what I want and then I will actually ask it exactly what I want in a proper way, then it will give me those results.
Okay, let's do it this way. With this AI or technology, because we are becoming digital natives at our old age. Now, if I was to take you and go and hustle in Nigeria with your AI, do you think you would make it there?
I think I would.
Would you be able to transfer all your skills and be able to run in
Yeah,
Nigeria?
I think I would. Firstly, with the same AI, I would like to understand where I'm at there, what kind of people are there, and then take it from there.
Okay. Okay. Let me go also at this and then tell me where your hustling journey started, how it started, and then I'm gonna come to you, Tabu, and then I'm gonna cut.
Yo, my hustling journey, I think it started around after varsity. You know, but obviously I had to learn the hustling way. You know, like not entrepreneurship where you have to go and have like books and stuff like that. I had to find
The street knowledge.
Yeah, I had to find myself and understanding my brand, right? Let me just give it an example. When I started, right, with the clothing thing, I used to thrift a lot.
What's that now?
Thrifting is buying hand-me-down clothes.
Oh.
Yeah, you buy a shirt for $20.
Where?
Josie, well, for a small street.
blend.
It's the first time I'm hearing about it. It's the first time I'm hearing
There's a place. But you have like a Blaq if it's on two nose.
Yeah,
right?
you want
Yeah,
Both two nose
yeah.
and so on. Yeah. And they said two nose and more like
Like,
And you dig for the clothes. Obviously, that's where it comes from.
This is what my
you
grandmother
serious?
used to say. "Ipakyaza zabafi."
Yeah. Some people,
it's not about
Habashi,
it.
no, some
When
people
are
say
you
that.
taking it?
No, Matt is right. They say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, well-
I got criticized for that also.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not really true.
Yeah, it's not. There are
really
some
not
are
true.
just clothes that we know never made it. You know, never gotten to be sold. You know, and you
Okay,
get clothes.
look, now the media savvy person in me, then I'm thinking, are these not the garments that the Europeans dump in Africa, where they go and they
Not necessarily.
No,
donate?
actually, there's a
little
big
clothes
market
from-
in Europe for that. I'll surprise you. Surprisingly, there's a big market for hand-me-downs, for second-hands, and all of that because affordability is fed across the board. There's a huge market for that all over the world.
So it's not only us.
You go to Dubai. I once saw a documentary, right, where these people from Thailand and all the other places, they work in hotels and all these places, right? And some of them work in good paying jobs, right? But when they get paid, there's an existing market for second-hand clothes, hand-me-downs, and all of these clothes.
So they call it thrifting also.
I suppose I don't know what they call it there, but I think let's go.
It is what it is.
Let's go back to
Yeah,
Rodney.
yeah.
Let's go back to you in that discovery.
Yeah. So yeah, as I mentioned, we're talking about the hustling game. I'm coming from the thrifting side, right?
Okay.
So I used to do that and then tailor make them to look good, you know. And obviously it comes with taste. And then I would educate myself with types of garments, knowing the garments for winter, knowing garments for summer. You know, in the past I just took anything, never understanding. I would sweat in summer. But now it had to educate me, right? But going back to the point is that me doing that actually then introduced me to brands.
Okay.
Like now I've worked with Ralph Lauren, you know.
Okay.
I've worked with Flosham. I'm dressed by Flosham, by the way.
Okay,
Yeah,
no.
today. So,
I was praying when you're talking brands. I was crossing my fingers. You're not gonna talk about those brands that are expensive but ugly. About L what, about G what.
no, yeah,
No,
but yeah.
no.
So-
Yeah, one of the ones that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Is a Machrot man.
Yeah, it's because obviously I'm looking at the elegant side of menswear. So, but
Okay.
that's where the hustling came, and then a lot of brands that associate with my look and my vision then approach me.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where the hustling came. Now
And
I
now
am dressed by people rather than thrifting. You know, I have.
You're no longer
brands.
getting second-hand clothes. Now you're getting
I
clothes made for you.
I still do that for a fact because there's something with thrifting. The material and the garments, the quality is way better than the newer.
But you get like first class thrifting because now
Yes.
you have elevated.
Yeah. so even the people that are addressing me, they understand what kind of
Yeah.
material that I'm looking for. You
Yeah.
can't just give me, you know,
until next year that will like wash off, and it needs to be classic.
It needs to
I
stay.
still have suits that are 6 years old with me, and they're looking good.
Question.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to someone aspiring to do that, or someone already into thrifting?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's a humbling beginning,
Yeah.
and once you get rooted there, you can't get, you really cannot veer off. You cannot get lost.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to somebody? Because I mean, I imagine your story from getting to big brands. Like, I'm sure you never imagined, unless maybe you had a bigger vision, that this would happen.
Yeah, honestly, man, I'll answer the second. I never had a bigger vision. For me, it was like love and passion for clothes, but obviously it led to brands, following me. Then I had to understand how these brands work, But to the younger person or whoever is into this game, man, it just humbles you, man, that, with whatever you have, you can do something, and you don't have to have a lot of capital. Most of us would think capital takes us there, but it's actually passion and just consistency. I was just consistent.
Passion and consistency.
Yeah, because I think around 2017 until 2021, I've been doing the same thing, creating the content with the same garments. And the other thing is also meeting other gentlemen. Like, I met a lot of gentlemen who are into the clothing side.
I'm
tailors.
gonna join you guys.
Yeah. So there was this thing where we meet to speak about clothing, but besides clothing, also the character of a man. You can look good, but if you don't have a good character, it's also a problem. So man, it just grounds you, and it just makes you aware of yourself.
Did you answer me when I asked you who are you? An
No idea.
African man or a westernized man?
No, but before you go, you need to tell us about your story. You need to tell us about your story. Don't divert us.
Okay, let me
What's
tell
your
you.
story? Where
Now,
did
let
it
me
all
tell
start?
you,
Define hustling.
I was studying internal auditing. I dropped out second. But while I was doing that, I was a dancer. Remember when Twasa was still doing JML, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We were the ones that were dancing with
You were
them.
dancing?
Me!
You were
Let me
dancing.
tell you, where's the song? But then obviously you can see that's when it started coming to Josie to come. I'm originally from Bloom
Okay.
and came this side and music and stuff. So
Utlele ko Josie Kakapere.
so obviously from there, how I entered into radio, got smaller and jobs there by Love Life. So I started doing content there. Like, boom. I learned radio. I always started getting exposure to this studio equipment and see how people do stuff there. Then I started learning. And then as I start going, you see there's an opportunity. If I was to expand in this space in the media space, like I need to know public speaking. So I went to learn public speaking. So if I listen to a presenter now on air without even knowing them, I can tell you whether they prepared or not. It's just the links they do. Yeah? And then from there, okay, what else is functioning here? Obviously, I need to learn DJ. It's the obvious one. It's here, and then I went to learn. I was taught by DJ Sush, really. Then I learned how to DJ.
You try to teach. I got bored.
Yeah. Switch, and then you move on. You say, okay, what else can I do? Okay, there's digital marketing that came into play lately, but before that, I went to this school. Was called LoRa, the School of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. That's when I learned innovation. That's when I learned technology, and I learned whatever else.
Okay, hold on. I'm listening to you talk now. Internal auditing.
When I started back then,
What got you to do that? I mean, like, what? Who?
It was a
which
nice
parent?
title.
Which parent?
It's a nice title.
It was a nice title.
No, like-
But
like,
also,
totally
let me tell you, we did an audit project in Beggarsport back then. So when I got there, I saw these timers were afraid of me. Hey, this internal auditor is gonna see. We were at some municipality. And I actually don't want to work like this. Where people are afraid of me, so I can't be doing this thing.
Sure.
So then I decided, okay, you know what? I'm no longer pursuing this. I was supposed to even go to my third year, and I'm like, fine now. Let's go this route. Because for dancing, for me, the kind of dances that we do, like I was saying earlier, it must speak to the common man. You understand? People must be entertained that live in my environment. They must know that people will come to watch us practice, bruh. So like, hey, you guys are really doing the things here.
Right? You're doing it.
So, but then, since it started then obviously the environment that you're in, you start expanding. You see, okay, Then I got exposed to Sotho hip hop. You understand? Then you see these guys, okay, where they struggle, their content. Guys, you need to improve this, da 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 da. So you are learning as time goes on, and you just adjust
And then
into.
Wanamela Pere ni without yours.
I came here in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
a long time ago.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah.
Mr. T,
So
what is hustling to you, and when did your journey start?
I think with me,
And then you're gonna give me the hustles, you're gonna give me the trials, the tribulations, and overcoming the whole package.
well, yeah, I'll do my best. But I think it started where we both started. I started in radio.
Please
I mean, I was-
don't mention any years.
Please
no,
mention-
mention years at
Please
all.
mention that.
No, you know this
We
thing.
don't, eh?
This thing. I mean, I was sitting at home with my dad, and back then the Star newspaper, and he sees something. Go the Star at the back, and he says, "Here's a bunch of guys who are doing this." And it was like a handful of them. Here's some guys doing something different. Why don't you go try? So Kohai Mumfulo, and Dube is not far from Kohai. So then I go over there to go Dube, and I see guys, like young guys, you can see they're trying to figure their way. There's a studio here, there's like a few things. I'm like, what are you guys doing? No, well, we're trying to start up a radio station for Soweto. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'm in. What do I do? And like they slapped me with back then, like a voice recorder. You'll be doing this, so you're gonna be walking around the streets, and it was still fairly safe back then. And it's not too far long, like please don't. They're like I'm not too that ancient, but anyway. So you start learning the desk, you start learning this, that, the other, and there's a lot of other people that I celebrate who are in the media today that we started with. The first radio station, or Kosoweto, and
Also, you were in the group with Kabzela.
before Kabzela came.
Where was Bro Vusilio at the time?
So I
No,
started
he
with
was the
Vusi.
voice of Soweto.
No, Vusi was there.
At Soweto community.
Yes, it used to be called
Bantu.
Soweto Community. Well, there was
And
also
Gua.
Gua and whatnot, but we ended up with the name Soweto Community Radio. I was Kopani Mapiri, and the current CEO, Kiena, the only person that's still there.
Okay.
Hector, or they call him Pomhlongo, I think, but we used to call him Hector. So, and I fell in love with radio back then, and the things we used to do, and the ICASA, or back then it used to be called IBA, I think. They were like, no, you can't have a radio station, in Soweto. We need petitions. I think they gave us some crazy number, like 100,000 petitions. So we had to go house to house. Yeah, getting people to sign with about the radio station for Soweto and all of that. So at that time,
But you haven't given me the other hustle, things that you were
it's
doing.
coming.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got into telecoms. I mean, I think that's where the big hustle came. I was still doing like odd talks here and there due to my obviously present broadcasting experience, go radio, and but yeah, then I got into telecoms, and I think that's where my a hole into telecoms and so on, and after telecoms, I stayed there for quite a number of years. After telecoms, and then that's when I realized, I told you guys earlier on, there's an old man, Kokasi, who says, Mtanam, you will never go hungry as long as you can use your hands. Any man who can use I know you guys if you're doing some banter around painting your nails, but this old man says any man who can utilize their hands will always have food on the table at the end of the day.
But any man who paints his nails cannot use his hands like that.
Oh, they can.
I did not say that.
They can. But I'll come back to that.
Okay, now, when we as hustlers, do our thing, we don't do our thing in isolation. We do our thing with the society around us. What has your experience been with society? And what is family? Or how has family influenced and society influenced your direction of hustling and your hustling?
Yeah. I think in hustling, when you hustle, obviously a hustler is someone who's always looking at
Can
opportunities.
we cut? Len, please.
Cool.
Remember, you take Len from what?
What I used to
Yeah.
do.
So keep the same energy. Now your energy was down, so
Okay.
you could feel that was a cut.
Okay, all right.
So
Just a second, guys.
take it
I'm gonna
like
go
when you're
outside.
editing. Tombo,
Yeah.
take it from his answer.
Cool. So from this answer.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me just make a note
Okay.
of that. Cool. We good.
All right.
Okay. So I mean, if you hustle, like I told you right now, how I started, right? After that came so many things. I learned how to fix devices. I learned how to now do talks and all of that, webinars and all of that. I learned how to do pasta now. Now I make pasta. I do all of these
Oh,
things.
I
you
thought
know.
you learned how to.
Fundis.
Now see,
That's what I
I'm
thought.
making coffee
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Now I'm learning to be a coffee barista and all of that.
Yeah.
But you know, society, it's so important
Yeah.
we talk about society because those are your people.
Mhm.
So you literally are like that light we're looking at right now. And they're looking at it. And they're saying, well, this person actually is not just shining in one, beam, but they have so many, it's like a rainbow. They have to have so many things.
But they probably see you as a scatterbrain, and
Again,
Yeah, that's my
the
problem.
society would look at you. Yeah, they look at you. I'll be honest. I mean, they would look at me and say, well, this guy,
Choose one,
we can
choose.
hear what he says, but
When's
exactly. And it's very difficult sometimes when you hustle because hustling cannot really box you into one thing.
Yeah.
There's always opportunities to hlahelang, like the gentlemen have nicely packaged it, So society will not always understand you. Your own family will not always understand you. And that's why they'll ask you,
What's up? What do you
know? And,
What's your
they will
level?
never, and you say, well, you will see him by his works. Rather watch Ntuta Dietang. That's a hustler. A hustler you have to see by their works.
I think he's got something that fits into what we're saying. Who's this guy in the Free State?
Like you're speaking about society. Ne?
Yeah.
I have friends that have been friends since 2008, since we came to Joburg. Even today, we're still friends. These are the core friendships
Yeah.
that are there. Where we share same values and stuff. But so one of them, there at the time, he's never found a job saying I'm submitting a CV like the video that was there. So we were having a discussion earlier about businesses and stuff. So as he snapped at the guy who was working at the time, he says, "Bruh, when I talk about business, I don't talk about the business that operates inside the mall. I'm talking about the business that is standing on its own." And this time it's not working at the time. But when that guy made a takeoff, he bought a house and a car same day.
But did he struggle for some time?
He
Was he
stru-
dormant?
No,
Did you lose any relationships? Because that's another thing with relationships. They run away. They run dry when you're not working as a hustler.
I don't know other relationships, but with us, we're still intact. Even
No, but we also remember there's also the female concept. We are men, right? And as men, we date.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens now? Society and has got expectations on us and our female friends and stuff like that. How are relationships with hustlers?
Oh man, you see that one now you touch on nerve. Because relationships, this is where you need to learn as a hustler when you're hustling to not lose balance and not lose your footing. Because relationships can break or make you. You need to. This is where you need to have the biggest control.
Yeah.
When it comes to relationships, this is where you need to be extra careful not to veer off from focus. How relationships.
Why? What are these challenges that make you veer off or that get you to be,
Yeah.
Look, relationships are. Remember, a relationship in of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It removes the selfness.
Okay.
You are removed. You're completely removed from being you, the hustler.
Yeah.
You're now starting to accommodate other people. That means where does your energy go? Where your values, they get compromised.
Yeah.
And you will disagree with me here on that, but relationships is where you need to find a balance. And a lot of people lose themselves and wake up much, much later. I missed out on XYZ. I could have been here. had it not been for not losing focus, and putting too much focus on the relationship when I was supposed to be focusing on my vision where I was going.
But most why I'm asking this thing is because sisters, they like a moving bus. And when you are still hustling, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources. And sometimes you have them, but they run dry.
Yeah.
You have a gig now, you don't have a gig then, the tender comes in, the tender doesn't come in. That deal, how
Can I
yeah.
add on this?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I stand to be corrected too, but can't you have a partner who understands your values? Because obviously you won't be fetching someone who doesn't understand those values, because you know that then it will give you a problem. If you want a one night stand partner, or
in an
who wants
ideal
things-
world, we get a woman that is understanding and
idea. Yeah.
But the reality is there are guys out here
yeah.
who lost their dreams or changed, like you're saying,
Yes.
course because of pressure in your society.
But
And this guy wanted to, and he was this close to. In fact, this reminds me. Okay, I digress.
Can I change my shades, guys?
Now you're talking.
Why? What's
it's
going on?
about
now?
to go down now.
Do your thing, Khabani.
Just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
you doing?
Just
This
for
is
the
what
heck
guests
of it.
do.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It has to adapt.
Yeah. Now you can see
Or
our
you
guest
adopt
is in.
The future looks bright.
He's in home mode.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to the breast tax.
Yeah.
He messed my thought up, but I'll get it. There's a movie, one of these Tara Perry movies. This guy is working and is doing his
Developing
thing.
a battery, I think, or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
And this woman is like supporting him at first,
Yes.
understanding at first,
Yeah.
doing everything, and he's getting there. But the sisters,
Influence.
they're like, hey, this broke guy of yours is not doing it. He's not the one. And then it goes on and on
Yes,
and
yes,
on and
yes.
on. Taraji Henry is in the movie.
Yes,
also.
yes.
Is it Taraji?
Yeah.
Hansen.
Hansen, yes. She's in the movie, and she's the girlfriend in question, or the wife in question. And then eventually she decides, to hell with you, nigga. And the guy blows up.
Yeah.
And now the guy comes and pays her off for everything that she's done. And then says, okay, look, now she wants him back. So now the question here is, how do you handle those setbacks when you are still trying to hold on to your horse? You're going to Joburg.
Let's hear from our guests. Yeah.
Your future looks bright, Chief.
No,
Yeah.
look, bro. Those are tough periods, né? Especially before things head up. And obviously, one thing that a lack of resources will expose to you is who is supposed to be clear. Because today our verse says, iron sharpens iron. Ne?
Yes.
Another man sharpens his friend's countenance.
Yes.
You understand? So once problems are here or you're on your setbacks, those that are closer to you are the ones that need to be there once you start making money. Because what money does, it attracts even fake people. So you need to have been exposed to who will be there once you are set back. You understand? So when it comes to relationship, look, one of the key things that guys are naturally is that they are givers. The moment they are the real reason we are hustling is so that we can get a life for yourself and to be able to provide for your family. So chances are a guy that is not yet in a strong financial position, relationship is not something that probably they are prioritizing at the time, because the hustle is necessary, because they know this hustle will make me able to afford this. But in the same vein, I don't want to create a theory about that, because I've seen women that were able to marry a guy who's unemployed, who's still hustling. There are women like that out there. It's an ideal thing to have, to have somebody who will support you.
Now let me throw one in there. I know guys who were supported by a woman like that, right?
Yeah.
And then now he's made it, he runs away.
That's a bad one, man. I don't like that. So
I know this brings.
But like we know it as them that do
Yeah.
it. But Nati, at some point, we also mess up.
This brings me back to the question where I was asking, which one are you? Are you a modern man? Are you an African man?
Yes.
Are you a Christian man? From my side, if you were to ask me that question, my worldview is simple. I live by Christian values. That's the primary thing. You understand? So I do not identify as, I cannot come here where Blaq has helped me and I decide once my things deep up, then all of a sudden Blaq is nothing. No,
but as Black people, man, I know I'm digressing a bit here.
yeah,
As Black people, that's been our operating model, where I can tell you, me personally, there's so many people that I've touched, whose lives I've touched
Yes.
in the entertainment industry today. But hardly any of them, when they do those interviews and mention that, hey, there's a guy who did this, hey, there's a guy, and some of them, they saw the mic first time with me in studio. Oh, well, they knew there was a mic, but the experience of having a mic was with me. But those same niggas, whenever they have
the limelight.
interviews and limelights, they don't
Forget
mention
you.
they don't mention the guy that actually put the foot for them.
But Blaq, it goes back to
it
your
talks to this thing, Guti.
yes.
When
Values,
you
yeah.
when you're
Goes back to the
hustling
values, yeah.
and you have those values and you're giving, but there are some Black people that will not give back.
Yeah, but it's not about black or white. It's about your
No, but-
value system.
No, but
If
right
I'm
now
saying-
we're talking about us because
Oh, okay.
this is the community that we know.
Okay.
We don't know the other community much. We see them on TV, but this one we experience it. You live it.
Yeah, for me, like I'm saying, it's every decision that I make stems from my worldview. Like I'm saying, either I'm a modern person or I'm an African or I'm a Christian. I'm Christian before everything else. This is where the core of my decisions come from. That I cannot, even though you do me wrong, does my Christianity allow me to do you wrong?
Yeah.
So it goes back to I could be the person that you have helped and I don't hold the same values. Chances are I'm going to do the same thing that these people are doing to you.
Okay.
You know, so it's not about whether I'm Black or anybody who imbibes certain values, they carry them wherever they go. So hence I was asking in the beginning, this speaks to our entire worldview.
Okay. Now getting to that, right?
Okay.
You've had successes. You've
And
had
failures.
failures. Tell me about the failures.
Ooh, bruh. Where do I start? Yo, so I was learning this thing, then.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always learning. I want money. This is when I realized actually I don't want a job. I just want money and the time to do the things that I want.
Okay.
Understand? So I went to this Forex thing. I was learning. Bro, there's so much money in there. Ne?
Yeah.
Believe me, if you master it, you can make enough money. There are people that will win, probably they will lose 2 trades in a month and then make at least 70K a day. It's possible here in South Africa. Hey, bro, I lost money. You know, like there are scammers, obviously, like you know the industry.
Yes.
There are scammers, one got shot and stuff, and like to the point like I went so much back. There was a day, I think it was the 29th of September 2022. That day I was not even feeling strong enough. Later in the day, I felt like I'm gonna commit suicide.
Yeah.
Like the thoughts for suicide came. You know, when you're having a bad day, you can say, you can brush it off. I didn't have the energy to brush it off. I was out. Out.
How did you come back?
On the day, I remember, and I was normal to my people. Like I was submitting my script at work and answering calls and stuff.
I've
But
got something on that one because you thought you were doing. We were all panicking.
yeah,
By the way, you had half the SABC panicking, looking for you. This nigga locked himself in a room for 2-3 days, didn't come out.
Serious.
so but
We were worried.
But the long and short of it, on the day, because I had stopped doing, particularly Instagram and Facebook, took some time off there. But then I wrote there on my status, and it was on IG, saying, guys, I don't know if I'm going to make it here. I'm thinking a lot about my mother and my brother. Please pray for me. Pray for them and pray for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it alive.
And that's when those were the words that got us to panic.
Then I locked my accounts, all of them. Boom, boom. Hey, calls started coming in. And when they call me, I see their call. I don't answer.
Yeah,
But once I drop the phone, I will tell you, no, I'll call you, don't worry, I'll be okay. But I don't want to talk and stuff. But the long story short, I shouted obviously on social media, then people started trying to reach out to me. Others came even without me knowing. They told the security guard, the complex, that I saw them at the door. But the one thing that made me come out of that is just that I don't have them with me today. 90% of the time when you see me, I'm with my headphones.
I have noticed.
Yes,
I noticed that. Yeah.
Why? Because our minds, that internal dialogue that happens when nobody's, there's an internal dialogue that's happening, and it's a lot of the time it's negative. So I put content that recharges my faith or that motivates me. Standard, or meditative music. Standard.
To get rid of the noise.
I don't know when I don't know when last was I depressed. Ever since that time.
So now, let me just backpedal a bit, because at the beginning of the show, you said something about who are you, and I feel like just from this what you just said, you exposed something, Kawena, and who you really are. Over and above what you said and your journeys of hustling, of life, and what you've learned, is there anything else that you are outside of what you just told us now? Like, who are you really? I understand that the Christian part, but outside of that, who are you? Because you started it, so you better have a good answer for that. You asked us who we are.
Who's this African man?
Yeah, who are exactly the African men?
No, I told you I am
A Christian man,
there's
first
three.
and foremost.
There's three ways to operate from. You operate from popular culture, from tradition, which is my Africanity, or from my faith. So my core is my faith. You understand? So everything else that you see, I do it with a dash of street. Like I said, I'm a street disciple. So my fashion will be influenced by Mapanzola Achale, not Khale. Remember the kind of panzola that TKZ imbibed.
Yes,
I would go that route, the clean, like kind of like panzola. I would take that for imaging, even wherever I go, because why? Even you can go to my socials. I try to speak to the guys that looked up to us that are no longer have access to us. So my dress code must speak to them, my content must reach them, and my behavior must guide them also.
Yes.
So
Talking about them, you had a project that you guys were doing back to Bloemfontein or something like that.
Bloom Josie.
Tell us about that.
Bloom Josie, it was a project that people from Bloom in different industries will come together. One aspect of it will come, maybe have a groove and stuff, but the other aspect is networking. Just to know, okay, from Bloom, which industry are you in? Okay, I'm in comms. Okay, which industry are you in? I'm in IT. Which industry are you in? Okay, I'm in whatever, waste management and stuff. Then in that way, you are creating a pool of people that are functioning in different industries and stuff. And we kept, and if we have a business, then we know if I have an opportunity, I'll start looking around my peers, because at the same time, if chances are there's something that you want to do back at the school that you went to, then we pass your business, then you go back to the school that you went back to, either buy uniform and stuff.
Funny you should mention that, man. There's another pet peeve of mine with black success, or black people that are successful, is that when a white person is successful, they even got a word for that. I think they call it alumni.
Yes.
Yeah. These guys, if they were going to Tabachu primary, these white boys, from time to time, they'll go back to Tabachu, help with the toilets, help with the library, help with the... And you go to most white schools, that's the same thing. You find they're giving back to the schools, they're giving back to the local library, local church in their town. But we don't do that. We have a lot of black billionaires, a lot of black millionaires. We don't do that.
This is why
Why?
we need to have more conversations like this, because, right? Because as much as we're not seeing them, there are so many ghosts. There's so much activism, Yabatuba, who think like we do and who want to see change. And who are they change themselves? And oftentimes, those type of people you will never see. You only see the result. But you're right, in the majority or in the main,
we
only
don't do
see.
it.
No, we won't. We won't.
Why?
So
Why?
Naki competition. I mentioned this.
Yeah.
Among ourselves, right?
Yeah, like this competition thing is messing us
Yes.
as the
Yeah.
black people.
Yeah.
No, because when Rodney, let me tell you like this, man. You find a guy, Utwa go Tabanchu. I don't know why this Tabanchu.
Yeah.
man.
Tabanchu. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Okay, this guy has got a homestead.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful house. Beautiful house. But when he steps outside his house, the yard is messed up. He hasn't
Yes.
bothered to fix the yard.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say he does the yard. You go outside the yard. There's no tarred road going to the street where he's land. There's no paving. There's nothing. But he lives in a R1 million mansion, Emakai, but does not bother to fix his surrounding. But at the same time, there's a farmhouse not so far, Kokosi, the Ombur there. His farmhouse is neat, nice. There's paved road, even if it's a dust road, but it's nicely paved and nicely fixed. There's order.
So we need to also
What is it with us, Jay?
with us. So there's, I think, especially about our successful.
Yeah.
We went through trauma,
Yeah.
whatever, and we feel like everyone must. Like angene, they weren't getting up. Do you understand? Like,
Yeah.
they weren't clipping up.
No, but you've made it now.
I know, but
How
yeah,
about
I need
spread
the thing
the
is,
wealth?
yes, you are successful, but ngaphakathi awukabi great.
Oh,
Do you understand?
that's powerful.
You understand? You're successful, but
powerful.
ngaphakathi awukabi great. So that's what I'm saying.
So success is not necessarily there.
Yes, your inner peace also.
You need to be
will give
successful.
you ideas of what can I change in the community. But if you feel and you are still bitter
You are still empty inside.
and bitter about how you made it, that's why it's easy for telling other people that I didn't understand. Do you understand? Not looking at the media much. Okay, do they have YouTube to even actually watch what you're saying? Because some are not privileged to even have that information. Do you understand?
Yep.
So we need to look at that. What not as Amataki. Are we really successful? Do we have peace in a way that you'll take the baton to another person?
We need more of these to be echoed all over, and not just talks, but actions. Let's wake up in the morning and call all men. I saw one. Sorry, quickly. I still want to go back to Ntete Kagiso, but I saw one video that you shared. I think we were looking at where it's a mentorship group, men, and the school tells them, well, bring your fathers to the school. It's a bring your daddy day kind of like a day, And most of the kids, is it half of them or what? Didn't bring their fathers because the fathers weren't present, And what these guys did were they quickly did something. They sent out the messages. We live in the social network, and they sent out, I don't know, Facebook or wherever, group of men anywhere who can volunteer to come in and play a fatherly role to these kids. 600 or over 600 men who pitched on the day to say we're here. And now that thing has stayed. And it's the hallmark of what the school stands for. It's one of the things that they stand for. So,
So it goes back to that thing that we were saying. We as black people need to give back more.
Yes.
Because it hurts me when I see. I go back. I don't have much to give. Okay. But in the area where I grew up, there was a time where I just decided to go ask the principal, what are you short of? And they were short of even printing paper. I went and I bought 4 reams of printing paper and they were so excited about that. Now imagine a guy who has got millions, he's driving 5 cars. Imagine it was just to sell 1 car and go, renovate a library.
And the rich people don't show up. They don't, you wouldn't even tell.
You know what I mean? I'm like, go fix the toilets. You know what I mean? Not any school, the school that made you.
How many receipts have you seen at a club where one night we spent about
100,000
to 200
on alcohol?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Because the harvest is plenty, but
Yes.
the laborers
A few.
I feel.
are few.
Yeah.
So, yes, to say to your question,
In terms of mentorship and stuff.
not only mentorship, yes, in addition to the initial question, saying, why are we like this as Batobansu and what?
We are conditioned. Like now, if you check the media landscape now, media is the biggest university that you can have. And we are conditioned whereby the content that we are now consuming, whether in music, whether in TV and dramas and stuff, ne? It doesn't carry our values. It doesn't tell our
Oh
stories.
man, there's a channel I hate. There's a channel I hate that land always puts us in terrible light.
Check every a primetime show that is watched by black people if it doesn't have explicit content, whether in speech or in conduct. The one people that we grew up doing an extreme sex scene at primetime TV.
Yeah.
Who does that?
I know what you're talking about.
You understand? So now content is king, whereby like where we are, the radio slots that we're doing. Let me start with that. Let me park that a bit. TikTok made a decision in their country. Content is for educational purposes.
They regulate
Out of their country, it becomes a weapon to other people. So why can't we do that in our country? Like anybody as an external content streaming site and stuff, you say you showcase our languages with their value system. You don't come here and teach people the nonsense that you guys are showing here. You understand? So for me, it is important that we bring into platforms content that is valuable.
Yes.
For me, the interviews that we do, we take people, will tell you that for the first time ever, we were talking to Tilly, Casper University's manager. Ne? He has never done any radio interview. Zero. I said, guy, the guys that grew up around you know your good stories. They need to know that you came from the same schools that you went to. Mention the name of the school. Mention them. What are the challenges that you faced? Mention the failures that you encountered and how did you overcome. So that at least you may not reach them and tell them what to do, but at least your story will energize them to endure when the difficulties come. Understand? For me, I'm about mentoring. And one thing that we like as black people, it seems like we do not love ourselves. We spoke about why our children are not learning in their own languages. It's because collectively we are not putting value in our own things. That's why when you get out of the house, somebody will throw a dog and paper this all litter around because we don't care about ourselves. So we need to mess in a massive way.
There are no white people that stay in Soweto, and yet Soweto is dirty.
In a massive way, we
Why?
need to make that campaign to make sure that guys, content that we show them that is programming them. Now people having a song here. No, guys, I'm just making an example. I'm not hating on anybody. We will have a song here, 5 of us, ne? And then Nancy Stock, John Vuligate for the coming 5 minutes on one beat. What is that? What content is there? You understand? Even the music in their content.
Chief, you're not the market.
But even the content in the music, even the content in the music is important.
I know what you
Go
mean.
watch the Afrikaners what they watch.
GateNet. Go to GateNet. You'll never
Thank
see.
you.
You'll never see the things you see on Mzansi Magic.
I don't know if he is not the market. I do believe that our market, he is the market. But Waruna,
But the market you make.
no, they don't know any better.
Yeah.
And they need to be educated. What he's talking about,
No,
the
yeah.
values, so that they understand the market. Or market here on the hand and it's be packaged in this way.
Okay. Guys, as we wrap up, now let's do the last one. How do we define success now? Now that as entrepreneurs, when you look at your future and you say, I've made it as an entrepreneur. But before you do that, I need you to tell me about the pitfalls of taxation as an entrepreneur. And then you talk to the fact that how do I translate this to success? What is success? How does success look like as an entrepreneur, as a hustler, as we close this thing up?
Must I ask?
Yeah. You are the guest.
No, but the long and short, like I'm saying,
Yeah.
for me, sometimes there are those personal ambitions. Ne? And now, like I was saying to you guys earlier, that
No, but before that, tell me about the tax part. Before you go to the closing part. Tax, because we know we all pay tax. And we know entrepreneurs, most of the time, they make it
yes,
and they lose it all to the taxman
Yes.
because they didn't do the due diligence.
yeah. So it's luckily from my side, I've had people that are here
That you can...
that I'm like, obviously, you only see the results, but not what I'm doing behind the scene. Ne? There are people that I'm asking around for what do I need to prepare ahead of time before whatever. So I have people like that for me that I've never been in some sort of that. It's a chaotic.
Let me tell you why I'm asking this question. 2010, 2008 and 9. No, 2008, 9, 10. Around there. I'm doing like 4 jobs at the same time.
Yes.
But there's one gig that's my main one. 2 that is like, you know, almost the main. But there's these 2 things that are just on the side. They are putting income, but they're not putting much income. And then comes now SARS at the end of the year, or actually they waited for 3 years to talk to me. After 3 years, SARS says, "Hey, Chief, you did this job here, you did that job here. Fine. There's these 2 people here that you did business with. We don't see your rent. We know we can see here your income moved to this bracket level, but you are here. May you please furnish us with 20,000 rands."
I've had setback, but they have not been that as a
SARS came looking for 20,000 rands. I mean, for me, like at our level, it's still small money. There are people that have been taken down for way more than that.
Yes.
And let's not forget that, I mean, we're talking about hustle, right? But let us not forget that the real hustle out there that you find, the daily hustle, people Barik Sandy, fruit and veg and all of that, they're not even eligible for tax.
Yes.
You know, and
No. They call them the other market. It's not that they're not eligible, it's that the government doesn't know how to take money from them. They cannot quantify what they do.
But you also at the same time, if you look at how much these people make on a daily basis, right? Some of them make no money in a day.
Yeah, but some of them make a lot of money to a point where this person buys a car and into a bigger house and bigger everything. That's how Maponya started.
Yeah, well, then it moves Kenya, and it kind of like it elevates from just being a hustle into a small business. It's a semi business. I mean and that's where the real tax obviously kicks in. But I thought when you were asking about tax, you were talking about when you are like at the lower end,
from the whole scale
at the bottom.
Yes.
No, the whole scale. From when you are, from when Lendosar starts recognizing with, "Hey, Chief, I need some of what you're making."
Look, that's the last thing you want. You really don't want to get a call from SARS. You don't want to receive an SMS or email from SARS or asking you for an appointment, or you don't want to. But unfortunately, it's inevitable. You know. I think as a Kito is an auditor right now because that's the auditor.
Yeah, no.
You can put in your audit head. No, it just never goes away. I don't think it never goes. It's tacit knowledge.
Okay.
But you know the audit part, as Blaq is saying, you know, your tax.
Yeah.
I know you brushed a little bit on it then, Waifita, but surely you must have what experience at tax, even if
but has never been catastrophic.
Okay.
From my side that I'm exposed to. There's never been the catastrophic side that would be, "Hey, bruh,
Give us some money.
yeah. No. Give us this kind of." No, I've owed them a bit. I think around just before COVID and afterwards. I think those 2 years, I didn't do my returns and stuff, whatever. So by the time I came back to them and stuff, there was a bit of an amount that I was. And we had to negotiate, but like I'm saying, it was not catastrophic. Whereby I felt like, "Oh, guys, where am I gonna get this money and stuff?" But it was some sort of a pinch in terms of
So do hustlers get educated on this? Because I don't think
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
you know, because
How? Let me tell them.
For me,
The brothers
for me, this is
that
what,
are talking.
this is what everyone who's successful on anything, they have a mentor. Champions have mentors, actually, that's what I'm saying. So for any area that I felt like I'm lurking on, you either go to learn, read books on it, or you get a mentor for it.
Okay.
Simple as that. You don't need to fail to learn.
Give us a book. Just one book.
About what?
That I know he's got it. Just give us one book that will sum up everything, and that one would like, okay, just go look at this book. It will give you a head start.
I have 3 books.
Okay.
The one that I recommend for everybody, I would recommend Gaten's Hustler's Bible.
Okay.
I would recommend what they never teach you in Harvard. I would recommend Never Eat Alone. Never Eat Alone is how you...
Okay, you will see these books right here. On
Never
There
Eat
they are.
Alone talks
Read them here.
about
There they are.
if you want to, how it's more like Hustler's Bible, but
Yeah.
for corporate side. About how do you meet these CEOs, the culture around them, and stuff. Ne? That's Never Eat Alone. In Hustler's Bible and what they don't teach you in Harvard
Yeah.
is just your everyday thing on how to survive in the streets, just the street knowledge in terms of
Okay.
how to navigate in terms of
Okay. Rod, how does success look like now? We're wrapping it this.
For me, being at peace because of my values and being able to change the environment close to me
Okay.
as best as I can.
As best as you can.
Yeah, that's success to me.
T, what's success?
Success to me,
How does it look like? What does it look like?
so let me tell you what it looks like. So every morning when I wake up, I mean, I do know I've got multiple hats to wear. But even on a dry day where there's nothing, success to me, I will still build myself in the head and I will write down those are billable hours.
Okay.
What did I do today? You know? So I think success for me starts with that. I still build myself on dry seasons that, you know, the day I get paid, I know when to reward myself for, you know, what, for the last 3 months, it's been so tough and so difficult, but I'm going to build myself for those hours because I worked. I still work. I want to make sure I get to while saying I work. I open the laptop and that to me is success. Before you even become successful, before you get that paycheck, you need to tell yourself and believe in yourself. I've worked. The money will come, but I have put in hours, you know, and the success that's there to me.
Mr. K.
Okay, this is the parting shot.
No. What does
okay,
success
yes.
look like?
Yeah.
Hey, success, it's a moving target for me. But for the long and short of this, like I said, for my core, I'm from a Christian perspective. Ne? So for me, it's what God wants for me. Reason being, there are things that I may necessarily identify as successful, but they are not for my benefit.
Okay.
So for me, the spiritual aspect for me is, what does God want me to do at this particular time? Hence for me, every day, no day, probably 80% of my day, guys, I'm listening, I'm meditating on what the word of God is saying. Whether it's I'm playing instrumental hymns, whatever. So you'll get those thoughts and stuff. And so I'm forever calm. I'm at peace. I'm my healthy state of mind. I ate today. I slept. I'm gracious for everything that I have. Whether I have $1 million or R1 in my bank account, I'm happy today. I get food. I had a roof over my. I'm cool. I did not die.
So if I'm summing up what you guys are saying, is that success is gratitude. Be grateful of the opportunities that you get. All right. We've had a long conversation. We've enjoyed some of it. We've
You
almost
haven't told us what
Hold
success
on,
means
hold
to
on.
And
you.
we didn't cry.
Yeah, we didn't cry.
Guys,
Exactly.
we almost cried.
We were ready. There's
I'm
tissue
not going
here.
to cry.
So that was the show today on Talk with Blaq. We were talking about hustling, and we got into it, and we diverted into many angles. And right now, we need to get the final parting shot, Uti. What does this hustling mean to you? What is it meant to you in closing? And as we say goodbye, Mr. Ronnie Baloyi, give us who you are, your socials and everything, and give us your parting shot.
Cool. My socials on any social platform is Ronnie Deep, RONEEDEEP. And yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, hustling for me is, growth personally and growth into the society and my environment and being a motivation or inspiration to the next person who looks up to me. Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Mr. T.
Yeah, I think for me is adding value. How do I add value to somebody else? How do I make them aware that they're sitting on gold? It may not be visible at the time. It may be the most irrelevant thing. But if you wake someone up to what you have in your hand, I mean, I'm not too sure. In your hand, and you can monetize it. Find ways to monetize it. It might not be instant, but believe. Start believing. So a hustler is a believer, man. You gotta believe.
And hustle without faith.
You can't. Yeah.
Mr. K. What's your final? Oh, hold on, Mr. T. Before your socials and everything else.
I'm not that active, but I mean, LinkedIn, you'll find me. I think that's where I mostly exist on LinkedIn. I do exist a bit on Facebook and IG, but I don't really put out my work, which I'll start doing now, but mostly on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly on LinkedIn because that's where I do a lot of
You're
work.
a true hustler. LinkedIn is for hustlers.
LinkedIn is for hustlers. Wow, yeah. That's why it's Facebook and all the others.
Mr. K,
What kind was the question? Oh, what's the, okay.
now that we're closing, what does hustling mean to you?
The ability to adapt to your environment, study your people, and then how you can better them. You know, yes, that's the long and short of it. And one thing that we also, as a part in short, guys, please take care of your mental health. That internal dialogue, once you're quiet, it can be tricky. A lot of the time that people that commit suicide, they would say they wanted some time alone. Be careful of that time alone. Your mental health is very critical, especially with these devices. It's an onslaught on what we think, what is a high value man and all these kind of things. Take care of your mental health, know what you want, and then stick to it.
There you go.
Ne? My socials, @Kagiso Sibudi on all social platforms. I'm mostly on X,
Okay.
and I'm on LinkedIn also. IG not much, but I have an account and also on Facebook.
All right.
Salute.
It has been another episode of Talk with Blaq. I am Blaq, and you will find us on all socials at Talk with Blaq. Until the next time, Jean-Marc Blaq.